If you're planning to buy a compact electric SUV, you're probably not planning to buy a Smart, because when you think of Smart, you're thinking about a compact electric city car. However, starting next year, Smart will introduce this car. This is the Smart #1, and yes, indeed, it is called the Smart #1, and no, it's not called the Smart #1. And this is a compact electric SUV that can fit 5 adults, and yes, it can tow a caravan. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this Smart #1. I'm going to show you the interior, the exterior, and we're going to take the car out for a drive. But before we do that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, this is probably the best time to do it. Alright, let's get started. So the old Smart, the brand that you know since the 90s, you can kind of forget about. The brand still exists and they still make compact city cars, which are fully electric by the way at this moment, but there will come a new chapter to the Smart story. A couple of years ago, the Chinese company Geely bought half of the shares from Mercedes-Benz, who used to be the owner of Smart. Now maybe Geely doesn't really ring a bell to you, but Geely is the Chinese owner of Lotus, of Volvo, of Polestar, and also for 50% of Smart. Now Geely is responsible for the technical side of the car, so the batteries, the motor, the platform, and Mercedes-Benz will be responsible for the design of all the new Smart cars. Now before we talk about the design of the car and the specifications, so how far it can get and how fast you can charge it, let's first discuss the competitors of this car, because what are the competitors of this car? Well, the car is 4 meters and 27 centimeters long, which is about the same size as a Volkswagen ID.3, a Renault Megane E-Tech, a Hyundai Kona Electric, a Kia EV Niro, and another electric car from China, which is the MG4 Electric. And I say another because, like I said, this is basically a Chinese EV, at least half of it. And all these models that I just named are basically the same size. They basically have the same starting price in and around, and they all basically have the same performance and the same specifications. However, this Brabus version of the Smart one is a lot faster than all these models. And how fast it is, I'm going to tell you right now in the car. In the Smart #1, there's only one battery size available and 2 power outputs. The battery size is 66 kilowatt hours, which gives this car a range of 440 kilometers. However, if you go for this top spec version, this Brabus version, you only get a range of 400 kilometers. And that's because this version doesn't have one electric motor, but 2 electric motors. One in the front and one in the rear, together providing a power output of 427 horsepower. So yeah, that is a lot of horsepower, and this car is insanely fast. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 3.9 seconds. So you can easily beat a lot of sports cars off the line with this Smart #1 Brabus edition. But again, you do get a little less range, because in the other versions, and there are together 4 versions, but in the other 3 versions you get a range of 440 kilometers, which is on par with most electric compact SUVs. And the car can fast charge up to 150 kilowatts, which is basically also on par with the competitors. And if you go for the regular models, you only get a single electric motor in the back, providing 272 horsepower. So also not a slouch, that car. That's still a lot of horsepower, and that car will do 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. Now obviously 0 to 60 times, it's not that important in a family car, and of course there's a lot of electric cars that are really fast, but there aren't a lot of electric cars in this segment that are that fast. You can get a Volvo and a Mercedes-Benz EQE with a lot of power, but this car is a bit more compact, and then 430 horsepower almost is just a lot of power. But again, it's probably not the most important aspect of this car, the 0 to 60 time. You rather want this car to be family friendly, and very practical, and even a bit good looking. So let's look at the design and the practical aspects of the Smart #1. So like I said in the beginning of the video, the car is styled by Mercedes, but I probably shouldn't have to tell you that. You probably have already seen that, because this Smart really looks like an EQ model by Mercedes. So the EQA, EQB, EQC, EQE, and the EQS, and then there's the SUV versions of the EQE and the EQS, and this car really looks like an EQ model. So on this car also no really strong lines, it's all really soft lines, and there's a lot of LED bars on the front and on the back side of the cars, just what a Mercedes-Benz EQ model. Now the only difference that this Brabus version has compared to a regular Smart #1 is that you get these air intakes here on the front side of the car. They are fake, by the way. Obviously it's an electric car, it doesn't really need extra cooling, but it looks a little bit extra cool. And obviously you get some extra Brabus logos around the car as well. The car also has some extra storage in the front trunk that most electric cars have. Let me open it. Now, this Brabus version does have an electric motor also in the front, like I just told you, and it also has a little bit extra storage space here. It's more like a small cubby hole. The front really reminds me of the regular Smart models, the regular small, tiny, ultra compact city models, because just like those cars, there's not a lot of storage here, only 15 liters. So you can't really even leave your charging cables here. There's not enough room for that, but there's only space for like an emergency kit or, I don't know, some small groceries. So the back end design is basically as the front end design, almost literally. You could basically swap them and you probably wouldn't even notice. Again, the design really looks like a Mercedes model, especially the Mercedes EQA, which is the compact electric SUV by Mercedes. So again, also you get this LED bar at the back and these pointy rear lights. On this Brabus version, again, some Brabus logos, and you get this red line down here, and this red line runs all the way across the entire car. So if you see a Smart #1 driving around with a red line, you know this is the Brabus version. Let's talk cargo space. Let me open the trunk, or the hatch rather. As you can see, it's electric. There's 270 liters of cargo space here, which isn't that impressive, to be honest. It's not that much. However, you can move the back seats forward, and then you have 411 liters, which is actually okay. And there's some underfloor storage here as well, actually quite a lot. Now you can't change the floor height, you can't really change it, but if you lift it up, you can really notice there's a lot of cargo storage down here. So let's close the hatch and let's see what it's like to sit in the back of the Smart #1. So yeah, welcome in the back of the Smart #1. Now, just with any other compact electric SUV, there's way more interior space than you would expect. Now that's obviously because there's no internal combustion engine that takes up a lot of space, so there's more space for the interior. Now I'm 1.80 m, 180 centimeters, and I've got this seat in the same position as how I would use it. And as you can see, my knees aren't even close to the front seat. I can even put my feet under the seat as well, which is always nice. And there's also plenty of headroom in this car. I have plenty left, and I would say if you're 1.90 m or maybe even a little bit higher, there's still plenty of room left. Now the interior here in the back is quite funky, just as in the front, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So you got this pretty cool door handle and this pretty cool piece of plastic that you can hold on to in tight corners. This car has the Beats audio system, so you got this really big Beat speakers here and some small tweeters here as well. There's an armrest in the middle, obviously 2 cup holders. There's also some USB connections here as well. You got a USB-A port and a modern USB-C port, and some air vents here in the back as well. Alright, let's hit the road again and discuss the interior. The interior has also been designed by Mercedes, so you pretty much get a Mercedes-Benz interior. The only thing that is different here is that you're missing the turbine air vents here, the round turbine air vents that you get in the Mercedes-Benz. And there is a different infotainment system here. You get this tablet style infotainment screen here that runs a pretty fast infotainment system. They definitely didn't save money on chips on this system because it is really responsive. I really like this system. And you also get another screen in front of you, which is really helpful, so then you don't have to look to the right side if you want to see the speed that you're going, because you can just see it in front of you. What is also different is the center console. It looks like a Mercedes-Benz center console, however, it's a lot higher up. And they did that to give a more sporty feeling when you enter the car, when you're behind the steering wheel, because it almost feels like a cocoon, like a sports car when you're in the seating area, because you get this really high up center console. There's a lot of cubby spaces in the center console, 3 to be exact. Here in the front you can leave your phone, you can wirelessly charge your phone, and there are 2 USB ports and a 12-volt outlet. And here in the center you got 2 cup holders and another space where you can leave your phone. And here all the way in the back there's a more traditional cubby space. However, it isn't that traditional actually, because there's an air vent here as well, which you can set to cool this area. So this is the place where you should leave your drinks to cool them. Now this car has 4 different driving modes, and there's a driving mode button here just beneath the screen. And if you press it, you can see there's Eco, Comfort, Sports, and there's Brabus on this Brabus version. Now if you press on Brabus, you get all the power in the world in this car, and then if you press the accelerator, the car just bolts. It's insane. Now obviously we're getting used to electric cars being really fast in a straight line, but a family-friendly compact SUV with 430 horsepower, that's something new to me. Now let's end the video with the prices. Now I can only tell you the Dutch prices, as those are the only prices that I have been provided with. I'm obviously from the Netherlands, you can tell by my thick accent. Now the prices will probably be the same all around Europe. So there are 4 versions like I just told you, and the basic version will have a starting price from 41,000 euros. And if you go for the top version, this Brabus version with almost 430 horsepower, you have to pay 49,000 euros. So that's it for this smart #1. If you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And then I'll see you in the next video.